Welcome to Eye on Africa here on France 24. I'm Rochelle Harrison-Pless. Coming up, the name on everyone's lips in South Africa right now, Cyril Ramaphosa. He's been chosen as the new leader of the country's ANC party after a fierce nail-biting race. The start of a new chapter. The first group of refugees screened in Africa as part of France's new migration policy arrive in Paris. The programme aims to prevent asylum seekers from risking their lives at sea. And jostling for the top prize in African football. Egypt's Mohamed Salah, Senegal's Sadio Mané and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Gabon are competing for the African Player of the Year award. Good to have you with us. It was a nail-biting race, neck and neck until the very end. South Africa's ruling ANC has chosen Cyril Ramaphosa to succeed President Jacob Zuma as the party's new leader. The billionaire deputy president took the win with 2,440 votes, defeating Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma by a razor-thin margin. The former cabinet minister and Jacob Zuma's ex-wife trailed with 2,261 votes. Let's get some reaction on the street from supporters on both sides.
Cyril Ramaphosa, he will bring the investor confident, he's business oriented, and he has been against the corruption. He has been encouraging the whistleblowing.
I wanted a woman to lead for the first time in 105 years.
Well, Ramaphosa's victory means he's well on his way to becoming the country's next president, with elections set for 2019. Our Johannesburg correspondent Aisha Ismail has more on the ANC's new leader and the challenges that lie ahead.
Cyril Ramaphosa is one of the richest men in South Africa. His net worth is valued at more than $450 million. He's also a former trade unionist, and those who have voted for him believe that he is the man who would be able to bring jobs to South Africa. He's the one to revive the economy and to restore investor confidence. And also remember that Cyril Ramaphosa will become the president of South Africa should the ANC win the elections in 2019.
Well, the leadership battle was a fiercely contested one, but it was one that was marred by much political infighting, with fears that the party could split. Now, Mr. Ramaphosa has a very tough job ahead of him.
A very tough job indeed, and analysts have warned that the split in the ANC could even become wider. You must remember that the top six leaders has been described by analysts as a mixed bag, as three of the leaders are loyal to Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, and this could pose a major problem for Cyril Ramaphosa because he will not be able to bring about the change with people who do not support him and who are not loyal to him. But there are those in the ANC who believe that he will be able to bring about unity. Some analysts have described Ramaphosa as having inherited a poison chalice, and another analyst also said that this was a winner's curse.
Aisha Ismail speaking to me a little bit earlier on. Well, it was the first day of a new life for 19 refugees who arrived in France on Monday. The men, women and children from Sudan and the Central African Republic are beginning a new chapter as part of the French government's new asylum policy. The programme hopes to identify 3,000 African refugees by 2019. It's part of a bid to stop people from jumping into boats and making the dangerous journey across the Mediterranean Sea. Meanwhile, dozens more refugees are set to touch down in Paris later this week. This as the French government takes a tougher stance towards economic migrants, with thousands now on the brink of expulsion.
They don't know France. These people were living in a camp managed by the HCR in Chad. For a few months, we'll accompany them in the discovery of a way of life as they learn French and discover their rights, including social rights and right to housing.
Right, time now for some news in brief. Ethiopia's Oromia region has been rocked by fierce ethnic clashes, leaving at least 61 people dead since Thursday. According to local authorities, ethnic Somali gunmen killed 29 Oromos, who then retaliated by killing 32 ethnic Somali Ethiopians. The cause of the latest violence is unknown. However, it comes just days after soldiers opened fire on protesters in Oromia's Solenko town, killing 16 ethnic Oromos. Zimbabwe's army has wrapped up Operation Restore Legacy, the military intervention that ousted President Robert Mugabe last month. The army has left the streets of the capital, handing power back to the police force. According to news agency reports, the army chief who spearheaded the operation, General Constantino Chiwenga, is set to retire. The move is widely seen as clearing the way for him to be appointed the country's vice president. Next, taxi drivers in Madagascar hit the streets on Monday, not to pick up and drop off passengers, but to protest a new government crackdown on unroadworthy vehicles. Authorities say the compulsory inspection will improve road safety, but the striking taxi drivers say the move will force them out of business. Clément Bonhor has the story.
Hundreds of taxi drivers blocking the streets of Antananarivo. They say the new rule that requires operators to take their cars for inspection is both costly and cumbersome. They also claim it could drive them out of business.
It is true that the cars we use here are very old, but because of the current economic situation, we cannot afford to buy new cars.
If you had to inspect all of these cars, you'd realize that not a single one of them is roadworthy. So we reject this new measure they want to impose on us.
Authorities say the new rule is intended to improve road safety in the capital. A recent meeting between union representatives and government officials, however, was unsuccessful, as both sides failed to reach an agreement.
Our leaders should listen to us and find a solution to our grievances. We're calling on the Minister of Transport and the Mayor to help us.
Taxi drivers say they've given authorities a week to drop the measure, threatening to continue disrupting traffic in the city.
Now, 3 athletes at the top of their game, jostling for the most prestigious prize in African football. Egypt's Mohamed Salah, Senegal's Sadio, Mané and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Gabon have been announced as the finalists for the African Player of the Year award. The Confederation of African Football is set to reveal the winner at a ceremony in Ghana next month. Well, our sports editor Simon Harding has more on the crème de la crème of African football.
Aubameyang plays for Borussia Dortmund in Germany. Sadio Mané and Mohamed Salah are teammates, actually, as it happens, for Liverpool in the UK. I think it's also worth mentioning that football is the most popular sport by far in Africa. So this is actually a huge prize and millions of people will be expected to vote. If we go a little bit further into their details and what they actually bring, well, if you look at the statistics, Aubameyang has 13 goals and 15 appearances in the Bundesliga. He, of course, won the award 2 years ago in 2015. So he's one of the top players out there in Europe, and it makes sense that he's been picked for the shortlist, really. Mané, a fantastic player for Liverpool, known for his dribbling skills, his pace, and his ability in front of goal. And also, he took Senegal to the World Cup. So that's very important. 7 goals for Liverpool this season. Mohamed Salah, very much the same as Sadio Mané, led Egypt to their very first World Cup since 1990, so huge success for him. He's the top scorer in the Premier League at the moment with 14 goals, also known for his blistering pace, and he in particular is the favourite to win this because he's playing absolutely fantastically this season, and he's also the one with the track record of being able to adapt most to big clubs, Chelsea, Roma, and of course when he started out in Russia.
Our sports editor Simon Harding there. Well, staying with sports, former Arsenal striker Thierry will always be football royalty in North London, and now he's been crowned king in Nigeria. The French football legend was at a fan event in Lagos where he was given the title of Igwe, meaning king or chief in the Igbo language. Even if it is symbolic, Henry can add his royal title to another one he already holds, that as the Gunners' top goal scorer of all time. Well, you're up to date here on Eye on Africa. Stay tuned to France 24. Lots more news coming up. Don't go away.